Hello P6, welcome to Tuesday's maths lesson. Now for today we're going to get underway with another one of our emoji tasks. We did one yesterday and today's one is all about revising our tables, and in particular we're going to revise the 2 times, the 5 times and the 10 times tables. So you're going to need 4 colours for today. Get yourself a yellow, a white, a black and a pink. And then what you're going to do is you are going to colour in each of these squares according to its answer. So if a square has an answer 16, 18, 45 or 70, you colour it in yellow. These are the answers for white, the answers for black, the answers for pink. Colour in the answers as you go along and you will eventually create an emoji on your page. So we're going to begin by practicing our multiplying. Today's main task is, like yesterday, all about area and perimeter. Can you remember the difference between area and perimeter? We talked about it yesterday. Area is all to do with the surface, the amount of the space that is covered by our shape. So we're thinking about the inside of the shape, the amount of surface that it covers. And we normally measure that in squares and often centimetre squares. Perimeter, we revised yesterday, is the distance around the outside of the shape. So if I wanted to know the perimeter of this orange shape, I'm almost drawing a fence around the outside edge. What's the distance around it from start to finish? Now, today we're going to concentrate again on area. And to begin with today, I would love you to click on the link and go and watch the Maths Mansion episode. We enjoy watching Maths Mansion in school. Go and watch that episode and it will help you revise a little bit about area. For today's main activity then, once you've done that, we're going to practice finding the area of different rectangles. So as we learnt yesterday, the easiest way to find the area of our rectangle is to do, well, if we take the area, we're multiplying the length times the breadth. That's how we can calculate the area. So if I look at one of these squares or rectangles and I want to calculate its area, well, the easiest thing for me to do is look at the length and the breadth. So if I wanted to find the area of this shape, this rectangle, I would count the length. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it's 8 squares across. I can see it's 3 squares going down. So what's its area going to be? Well, to make the area, we multiply the length times breadth. So we're multiplying the length times the breadth. What's 8 times 3? Yep, it's going to be 24. But I have to make sure afterwards I write my centimetres squared. Now, that's all what we were doing yesterday. So for today, we are going to practice completing an area table. So you have the chance to download one of 2 levels, but they both basically ask you to do the same thing. So let's watch this one and then you can work out which level you are going to do. So I have given you a table and the table is divided up into 3 columns: length, breadth and area. And what we need to do is fill in the missing spaces. In some of them, the missing number is the area. In some of them, the missing number is the breadth. And some of them, the missing number is the length. And in the last ones, there's 2 missing numbers. The length and the breadth are both missing. So let's start at the beginning. Always a good place to start. So if I have a rectangle and I'm told that it measures 9 centimetres by 3 centimetres, well, if area equals length times breadth, all I need to do is multiply those together. So what's 9 times 3? Yep, 9 times 3 is 27. And I can't forget to put in my centimetres squared. So if I drew a rectangle that was 9 centimetres by 3 centimetres, its area would be 27 centimetres squared. What if I drew a rectangle that was 5 centimetres by 12 centimetres? Multiply. 5 times 12 or 12 times 5 is, yep, it's going to be 60. So the area of that rectangle would be 60 centimetres squared. Let's skip on down to number 5. If I have a length of 10 centimetres, I don't know the breadth, but I know that the answer, the area, is 70. So I've got 10 and I'm multiplying it by something and my answer is going to be 70. What must my missing breadth be? 10 times what makes 70? Yes, it's 7, isn't it? 10 times 7 is 70. So 10 centimetres times 7 centimetres will give me an area of 70 centimetres squared. Wonder what one's going to go in here. 2 centimetres multiplied by something makes 100. 2 times something equals 100. What's half of 100? Yeah, it's going to be 50, isn't it? 50 centimetres, because 2 groups of 50 make 100. It's the same idea in numbers 7, 8 and 9. I wonder, could you help me work out the missing number for number 9? I'm missing the length. 9 centimetres is my breadth and my area is 81. So something times 9 makes 81. What times 9 makes 81? Yeah, it's 9 times 9, isn't it? That must be 9 centimetres. Oh, what type of shape is that going to be, P6? If it's 9 centimetres across and 9 centimetres down, if the length is 9 and the breadth is 9, that's going to be a square, isn't it? Not a rectangle. That one's going to be a square. Now, in the last 3, I am missing both the length and the breadth. And in these ones, we are trying to think of 2 numbers that multiply together, in number 10, for example, to make 100. Can you think of 2 numbers that multiply together? Well, you could do 10 times 10, couldn't you? That could be 10 centimetres and 10 centimetres. Can you think of a different one? Oh, I can think of a different one. What if that wasn't 10? What if that one was 20? Can you think of another number to go in there? 20 times what makes 100? Can you think of anything that could go there? Yeah, it could be 20 times 5. You might be able to think of a few more. There are more than a few answers there. In number 11, could you think of 2 numbers that multiply together to make 45? In number 12, 2 numbers that multiply together to make 24. Well, if you have found that pretty easy as I've talked you through it, then I want you to choose the higher level activity for today. And this is the higher level activity for you to download. And it's very similar to what we've just looked at. So you've got some missing areas, you've got some missing breadths, you've got some missing lengths. And then in the last 3 questions, you're looking for a pair of numbers that multiply together to give me these answers. So that's the higher level activity. If you choose to do the slightly easier level activity, then I've given you the length and the breadth for number 1 up to number 8. So can you multiply those numbers together to give me the area? And then in number 9 up to number 12, we're missing the breadth. So 9 times what makes 90? 50 times what makes 100? And so on. So there are 2 levels to choose from. And then P6, you have our extension task for today. On this page, and you may not be able to see it very clearly in the video, but there are lots of squares on this page. What I want you to do is I want you to try and draw me lots of different rectangles that have an area of 24 squares. Now, I'm not saying 24 centimetres squared because the squares aren't centimetre squares. They don't measure exactly in centimetres. So I want you to draw me different rectangles that have an area of 24 squares. How many different rectangles can you draw? Think again about pairs of numbers that multiply together to make 24. So that is your extension task. Once you've done that P6, you've also got our reasoning task today, which is all to do with missing digits. And then why don't you go on to Education City and go and do some Play Live and our maths games. We've got our adding, subtracting, multiplying and dividing games. Why don't you challenge yourself today to have a go at as many of those as you can. Can you get yourself onto the Brooklands leaderboard for one of those games? Good luck.